Hello, my friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you doing today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope all is great and good and wonderful. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago that I was contacted by a board game publisher in Iran, and they want to produce scallywags. I will tell you, for the sake of YouTube and the federal government, I will now call this country Persia, and I realize it's not Persia anymore, but we're going to call it that for the rest of this video so that I don't get flagged or something or put on some sort of watch list. But this publisher wants to produce scallywags in Persian. That'll be the language that it is printed in, but it will also be translated into Arabic in the book, which was interesting. I didn't realize that Arabic was common there. I thought it was not. But regardless, it'll be in Persian and English. Or Persian, the rules will be in Persian, English, and Arabic. The product will be in Persian, and they are serious. They're very serious. I put them in contact with Gamewright, who was the publisher, and was informed that Gamewright no longer holds the rights to the product, but they were able to come to an agreement with Gamewright to purchase the art assets and the manufacturing assets for the game. So Gamewright has agreed to sell them that, and I have worked out an agreement between us for my permission to print the game, essentially. What I have learned through this whole process is there is no real copyright law in Iran. So they could just do whatever they wanted with it, but they're offering to, compensate me and to work with me because they'd rather have my blessing. And I said, sure. So I now have to come up with some sort of formal agreement. I'm practically giving it to them for free, with the, exception that they're going to send me some games. They're going to send, come on, my game's going to be printed in Persian. I definitely want that, on my shelf. But I have to write up some sort of formal agreement. And it's one of those situations where it's not worth my time to hire a lawyer, I don't think. The game has already proven to be, I guess, unsuccessful in English. So unless something dramatic happens, I don't think that I would be signing away my rights to anything that I would regret. Yeah, let's put it that way. But I still want to make sure that there's some sort of precedent for me to say, yeah, you can print it, but here's my rules. It's only going to be printed in Persian. It's only going to be sold and manufactured, or only sold in your home country. It will not be sub-licensable. You won't be able to sell this product to other publishers outside of your country, that sort of stuff. And I've not really looked into all of that. I'm not going to hire a lawyer for it. For one, it's an international contract. I can't afford that. I can't afford an international lawyer. I don't have a local contract lawyer that could write anything up for me. So I'm just going to write up my own formal agreement and go with that. But it's been a really interesting process. The person that I've been speaking to has been really passionate, super cool person. He sent me, pictures of it. I asked him how, my biggest question was, how in the world did the scallywags end up in Persia? And he said, I bought it on Amazon. And after a couple of months, it finally showed up, and we played it and said, this is really fun. We want to make this game. And I said, wow, that's really interesting. It's been basically a discontinued product for the last 3 or 4 years or 5 years. I don't know. It's been a while here in America, so it's not really something that anybody's looking for. To find out that it's, this person's extremely excited about it in Iran, that's really fun. I'm really interested in that partnership or in that deal. So we've worked out a very small fee. Send me some copies of the final product. We will renegotiate if you intend to do additional manufacturing, that sort of stuff. And we'll see what happens, When I first started publishing board games, I had this idea in my head that someday I'm going to have a game, that makes it, that will be, and my version of makes it is like you know, is recognizable. Not in Walmart. In Walmart is, I don't live in West Virginia anymore. That's not true. But, you know, in Walmart is a big deal. I meant just a game that was recognizable by, you know, a lot of people at a show or something like that. And I never thought that Scallywags was going to be that game, but when Gamewright bought it, I definitely had high hopes for it. I definitely thought, oh, that's going places, you know. Gamewright wants it. They're a big publisher. They printed 10,000 right off the hop. So I was really excited about the potential for it. And I was excited because Gamewright does do a lot of sub-licensing. You know, they purchased world rights. They had worldwide rights to it. And I was going to get, I think, maybe 8% of sub-licensing fees. So they had worldwide rights. Or no, it wasn't 8%. It was more than that. It was like 20-something% of sub-licensing fees. So they, you know, I was hopeful that they were going to have it manufactured in multiple languages, and I had put in my original contract, I had asked them, if you sub-license it, I want, you know, a minimum of 6 copies of any sub-licensed product, and they agreed to that. Like that has to be part of the agreement, because if it's printed in China, I want Chinese copies of my game. And I had, you know, had hopes, and it never happened. But here we are years later, and this person reached out to me and said, I want to publish this game. What do I got to do? And so I might get it in Persian, and that'd be really awesome. That'd be really fun. It's really kind of piqued my interest again in game design. But at the same time, I'm also working on No Rugs Allowed right now. So I am working on a game. It's just not a board game. It's an online thing, and it won't be for sale. It'll be free, free to play, free to mess with, and unless I someday decide that it's worth something. It, you know, currently, in its current state, it's not worth anything. It's just a tech demo of some generators. Today, I released on my Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, at Chevee Dodd, I think that's at the beginning of every single show. I put up some pictures yesterday of some room generation where I started to work out the programmatic generation of sentences is not fun to do, but I've worked that out so that I can make sentences that say, you know, you walk into a room, you see this, that. And then the plan was to make those Mad Libs. And so I put up a teaser on YouTube or on Twitter today of the first kind of iteration of what this Mad Lib type dungeon thing is going to be. And that essentially is asking for, one, you can make some fun, silly Mad Libs that are D&D based, and two, it'll seed my database. It'll help me grow the language for the game so that it has a lot of depth and a lot of breadth, but it's all just procedurally generated. It won't be. There's a story. You'll hit story breaks that are important to the whole thing. But for the most part, walking into a room, encountering monsters, finding treasure, that'll all be just written on the fly by my engine. So we'll see. See if that works out. And maybe I'll go back to board games at some point in the future. I don't know. I do enjoy designing games, though. Always have. So I'm going to go try to figure out how to write a semi-formal agreement between myself and a Persian country and see how that works out. So thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends, wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow. Today's word you should know is beleaguer. It is a verb meaning to persistently surround, harass, or pester until you get what you want. To the embarrassment of her friends, Christian beleaguered the sommelier until he brought her a satisfying Bordeaux. Beleaguer, B-E-L-E-A-G-U-E-R.